Hi children! In today's lesson, we'll learn a little about the numbers, whole numbers especially. Many people use numbers in their daily life. However, they have incomplete information about what these numbers mean. In today's lesson, I'd like to focus on the meaning of the numbers that make up this number by giving examples of these numbers. Now let's take the whole number. This number 24,548. Each of the numbers that make up this number is called the digits of the number. What does I mean? For example, 8, the place of 8 is a digit, 4 is also a digit, 5, and this 4 and this 2. They are all digits of this number. And of course, a digit has a meaning. In fact, we'll focus on the answer to the question of what each digit means. Now we understood the definition of digit, but let's now continue with its meaning. The numbers that make up the number indicate the number of powers of number 10. So the meaning of any digit is the following with this information. For example, 4 represents the number of the powers, some power of 10, number 10. 5 is also, 5 describes us the number of some power of 10, a power of 10, special power. And this 4 is also, okay, this 4 represents the power of a special power of 10. This 2 is also. And this 8 gives us or tells us the number of units digit or number of 1. Number of 1. It means 1. What does 1 mean? 1 is 10 to the power of 0. So the last digit of the number from left, the last digit, if you start from the left, the last digit is 8. The meaning of 8 is I have 8 ones in my hand. And the meaning of 1 is 10 to the power of 0. What about the second number after 8? 4. The meaning of 4 is the number of 10 to the power of 1. 10 to the power of 1. 10 to the power of 1 is 10. So the meaning of 4 is I have 4 tens. What about 5 after 4? The meaning of 5 is the following. I have 5 hundredths. 5 hundredths or 10 to the power of 2. I have 5 hundredths. And after that, the meaning of 4 is the following. I have 4 thousandths. 1,000 mean 10 to the power of 3. So I have 4 thousandths in my hand. What about 2, the last digit? It means I have 2 10,000ths. 10,000, a 10,000 is 10 to the power of 4. So I have two 10,000s in this number. So I understood the meanings, all meanings of these digits according to their places. So the first digit from the right represents the number of ones. What about the meaning of this digit? It represents the number of tens. So what about 5? 5 describes the number of hundreds. What about the meaning of this place? And the number 4 here represents the number of thousands. And what about the last digit? 2. 2 represents the number of 10,000s. Yes. So, and this number, which number? 24,548. I have 8 ones. 8 ones. Let's write it. I have 8 ones. 4 tens. 5 hundreds. 4 thousands. And 2 10,000s. I think you understood what I mean. Now, this is the meaning of a digit in a number. And each digit has a special meaning according to their places. 5 is here, it represents the number of hundreds. I have 5 hundreds. What about this number 4? I have 4 tens. What about this number 4? I have 4 thousands. Thousands. It represents the number of thousands. And written here 4, so I have 4 thousands. What about this 2? This place represents the number of 10,000s. And my number here is 2. It means I have 2 10,000s. I think you understand. And you know, ones, tens, or hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, these are all powers of 10. Now 10 is 10 to the power of 1, 100 is 10 to the power of 2, 1,000 is 10 to the power of 3, and 10,000 is 10 to the power of 4. And these numbers 2, 4, 5, 4, and 8 being on the digits represent the number of powers of 10 according to their places. Now I think we learned the meaning of the digit in a whole number. Now let's continue with simple examples to this with this subject. For example, 356. Now let's write the meaning of this number. In this number, I have 6 ones plus 5 tens and plus 3 hundreds. Am I right? Yes. And or you may tell, let's write in a different manner. 35 tens, 35 tens. It means 35 times tens, 10. 35 tens plus 6 ones. Am I right? What does 35 tens mean? 35 times 10, it means 350. Or 356 ones. Am I right? Can I write like this? You should write this form, but these are also okay, these two forms. But in general, we'll use the first one. Now let's give another example, and let this be the last one. 2643. Now let's write it. Start from the first digit from the right. 3 ones I have, plus 4 tens, plus 6 hundredths, and 2 thousandths, plus 2 thousandths. Or you may write this like this. 3 ones again, plus 4 tens, plus 26 hundredths. Am I right? 26 hundredths mean 26 times 100. And or 3 ones plus 2 hundredths, 64 tens. If you multiply 264 with 10, you will get 2640. Or 2643 ones. May I write like this? Of course, but please concentrate on this type. Now, this type is called as the expanded form of the whole number. Expanded form. So, when I ask you write a given number in expanded form, please obey this rule, okay? Now, let's continue with the next one. I told you before that these are the meaning of any digit is the number of powers of 10. Now let's write the expanded form of a given whole number with the powers of 10. The last example, let this be 458. Let's write in old style. What does 8 mean? I have 8 ones plus 5 tens plus 4 hundredths. It means, what does ones mean? It's 1, 10 to the power of 0. So I have 8 times 10 to the power of 0 plus 5 tens. It means 5 times 10 to the power of 1 plus 4 hundredths. It means 4 times 10 to the power of 2. 100, 10 to the power of 2 or 10 squared. These are all the powers of 10 starting from 0 and going like this consecutively. 0 after 0, 1 after 1, 2 comes, These are all powers of 10. Now let's continue with the next page. I think you understood the meaning of a whole number and the meaning of digits. Of course, a little part of the meaning. Of course, a number may have more than this meaning, but in mathematics we should concentrate on mathematics like this. What's the meaning of 5 here is the following. It represents the number of tens. So written here 5 means I have 5 tens in this number. Now decimals. Let's continue with the decimals. What are decimals? In algebra, decimals are one of the types of numbers. which has a whole number and the fractional part separated by a decimal point. The dot present between the whole number and fractions part is called the decimal point. The dot present between the whole number and fractions part is called the decimal point. For example, let's write example 34.56. Now this is the dot, and the dot is called as the decimal point. It separates the whole part of this number and the fractional part of this number. This is my number in all, and this part is called whole part, and this part is called as fractional part. Whole and fractional part, and in total it's called as a decimal. And the meaning of digits here in whole part the same as I told you before in the first section, but after the decimal point, I have the fractional part, and this 5 and 6 also has some important meanings. What is the meaning of 5? Again, it represents the number of a power of 10. It represents the number of tenths. It means 1/10. So I have 5 times 1/10, or 5 tenths. And right here the meaning of 5 tenths. The meaning of 5 starting from here. And what about the meaning of 6? Hundredths. The number of hundredths. It means 1/100. So I have 6 hundredths and 5 tenths in this decimal number. If you add another number after 6 here, 3 for example, and what's the meaning of 3 here? Thousandths, the number of thousands. It represents the number of thousands. Let's write it. Number of thousands. So I have 3 thousandths. Okay, and it will contain like this: 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths, millions, like this. But here tenths, what does it mean? Tenths, 1/10. It means hundreds. What does it mean? 1/100. And thousands means 1/1000. That's all. I think you understand. So let's write this decimal number in its expanded form. Whole part we know from our first part. I have 4 ones plus 3 tenths, and this is the whole part of this decimal number, plus 5 tenths plus 6 hundredths and plus 3 thousandths. That's all. I think you understand. And write this expanded form as the powers of 10. It means 4 ones. 4 times 10 to the power of 0. 3 tenths, it means 3 times 10 plus 5 tenths, 5 times 1 over 10. 6 hundredths, 6 times 1 over hundredths plus 3 thousandths, 3 times 1 over 1000. That's all. I think you understand. Now this is the expanded form of a decimal. Place value with decimals, and you know where is my decimal point, and here is my decimal point. I mean, it means put here a point, and the left of this point describes the whole part of the decimal number. 100, tens, and 1. Now let's write a number. 348 hundredths. The number of hundreds is 3. The number of tens is 4. And the number of 1 is 8. After decimal point, tens. Now let's write here. Tens. 5 hundredths, 6 thousands, 2, 10 thousands, 1, 100 thousands, 4, for example, and millions, 5, for example. What does tens? I have 5 tens, 6 hundredths, 2 thousandths, 1 10 thousandths, 4 hundred thousandths, and 5 millions. Okay, now let's write it in its standard form. Expanded form. 3 hundredths, 3 times 10 square, plus 4 tens, 4 times 10, plus 8 ones, 8 times 1. Let's write it 1 or 10 to the power of 0. And plus 5 tenths, 5 times 1 over 10. Tenth mean, 1 over 10. And plus 6 times 1 over hundredths, and 2 times 1000, 1 over 1000, 2 times 1 over 1000, plus 1 times 10,000 thousandths. It means 1 over 10,000. 10,000, this number. And what about this? 100 thousandths. How many? 4 I have. 4 times 1 over 100,000. And last, 5 times 5 millions. It means 5 times 1 over 1 million. That's all. Now, of course, you may write, instead of 1 over 10, 10 to the power of minus 1. Instead of 1 over 100, 10 to the power of minus 2. Instead of this 1 over 1000, you may write 10 to the power of minus 3. And this, what about this? It's 10 to the power of minus 4. It's 10 to the power of minus 5. And it's 10 to the power of minus 6. And these are the number of these powers of 10. 5 represents 5. I have 5 10 to the power of 6 minus 6. So I think you understand the meaning of place value with decimals subject, or standard expanded form of the decimals. Now this is the title I told you here for you, and I think you know. Now for this page, let's give the last example. 24.3 4 and 1. 24.341. What does it mean? In expanded form, let's write it. 2, it means 2 times 10 plus 4 times 1 plus 3 times 1 over 10. It means 3 times 10 to the power of minus 1 plus 4 times 10 to the power of minus 2, or 1 over 100, and plus stop here and write here 1 times 10 to the power of minus 3, or 1 over 1000. Okay, now this is the decimal expanded form. Now today's lesson is over, and we learned the meaning of numbers, a little about the meaning on their digits. So hope to see you on the next lesson. We'll continue with another nice and excited subject. Bye.